America is a land of bright lights and broken dreams, a place that delights and inspires a hunger for fame. It's also a place that some people find hard to leave, even after death.
My name's Gail Porter and I'm a skeptic.
My name is Chris Fleming and I am a sensitive.
It's my mission to investigate alleged sightings and hauntings of Hollywood ghosts.
A sensitive can detect paranormal events beyond the range of the 5 senses.
I wouldn't say I'm a non-believer, but I'm definitely a skeptic.
Together, our mission is to investigate the dead famous. Our search for the spirit of Andy Warhol would send us to the city closely associated with the infamous artist's early years. From the museum where he first discovered his talent,
do you know how long you've been here?
to the college where he graduated.
Andy Warhol, can you come forward?
Before ending at the library where he studied.
Andy Warhol, are you here?
Would we find Andy Warhol's ghost haunting one of the many landmarks he loved to visit? Or would he be as enigmatic in death as he was in life?
Andy Warhol, I conjured a...
The 1960s. The media called him the Prince of Pop. He was the artist of his time. His name synonymous with the pop art movement. Warhol was also the personification of the American dream, making his way from a small-town working-class family to the American legend he became.
It was here in Pittsburgh that Andy's creative dream began. With his artistic mother, he began to take inspiration from the world around him.
But his childhood was filled with trauma. He suffered from mental disorders and had 3 nervous breakdowns before he reached his 15th birthday.
So in our search for his spirit, will we find the artistic Andy who took inspiration from this city, or should we find a frightened little boy still trying to find his place in society?
Andy Warhol died in New York on February the 22nd, 1987, following a routine gallbladder operation. He was only 59 years old. Warhol's body was flown back to his hometown of Pittsburgh to be buried. But if his body is here, does that mean his spirit is too?
I know Andy Warhol's career is kind of synonymous with New York. I looked into places in New York that were, associated with him, and I found that most of them had been knocked down or we can't get access to them, so I thought the best thing to do is come back to the place where he grew up, Pittsburgh.
His inspiration.
His inspiration was here. Do you think that's a good idea?
Oh, definitely. I mean, he went to school here and he was taught a lot of things by his mom and some of his classmates, but, I've always been a fan of him. I mean, his artwork has always been phenomenal. So I'm hoping that I get the opportunity to come in contact with his spirit. Maybe I'll even get to channel him.
Okay, well, let's go and see how we get on. I hope it gets warmer.
It was time for Chris and I to begin our search for Andy Warhol's ghost. But were we right to come to Pittsburgh, the place he spent the first 18 years of his life?
Andy Warhol was born on the 6th of August, 1928, the third of 3 boys to Julia Zavacki and Andrei Warhol. He grew up in the Great Depression and grew up in a place that wasn't really very accommodating to people who were artistic. He suffered serious illnesses that required bed rest for some months. And to keep him occupied, his mother would encourage him to draw, she herself being an amateur artist. And when he did a good drawing, he would be given a piece of chocolate, which forever made him a chocoholic.
His early artistic talents were not just noticed by his mother, but also by his teachers at Shenley High School. They selected the 12-year-old Warhol to attend an elite art class every weekend at the Carnegie Natural History Museum in Pittsburgh. This seemed as good a place as any to start our investigation, especially as the museum is rumoured to be haunted.
For his art classes, he would have come into this room, which is the music hall, and there would have been lecture up on the stage. They had their drawing boards, and they would have done drawing here in the music hall. They would go off into various aspects of the museum and draw from the works of art. I have to guess that Andy Warhol would have really loved being here on Saturdays, especially because one of the crucial aspects of the classes was this importance of observation, importance of being aware of what was going on around you. And I think that was a key part of what made Andy a great success in his career.
There is actually a ghost or
Museum employee Dan LaGiovanni, who has not only heard of the ghost stories, but has experienced the phantom firsthand.
Now, this is my office. I had it for about 5 years ago, up until the beginning of this year, and this is where I had the phantom experience.
Okay.
And what happened was there was a party going outside my door that night. So I come in the next morning, and there's 3 balloons from the party the night before. All of a sudden, a balloon, one single balloon, came in, flew into the office, and flew across. So I said there, if you really want to freak me out, Phantom, you would have it fly over my head. Just then it pops up from a desk, flies straight over my head, lands right there, never flew again. I went out, after I was a little, that really got me. I'm like, at least he has a sense of humor. So I went out and checked, the other 2 balloons were right there. No one else was on the floor, nothing else had changed. I didn't do anything with the air conditioning. So that was my phantom experience. This is the Carnegie Music Hall. This is where Andy Warhol had his tutorials with a bunch of other students in the art classes. Okay. And this is also the room where we've heard more of the ghost stories have happened, where the doors have been shut and that shouldn't be shut, doors that shouldn't have been open are open, doors that were closed were found open again, and you hear strange noises of footsteps of people who shouldn't be in the building. Obviously, it's a locked-down building.
Did you see that?
No.
I thought when you looked over, you saw that too.
What did you see?
I thought someone was just walking right down the stairs right over there. I seriously thought I saw someone walking down the stairs, and I looked over again, there was nobody there. Has anybody ever seen anything up here?
Not that I know of, no.
Well, from the stories he's saying, and what I just saw right now, we definitely got to come back to this place and do an investigation.
Would that be okay with you?
Yes, please do.
As night fell over the city, we prepared for the investigation. Could this phantom be Andy Warhol, back to a place that inspired him?
Since I've been here, I haven't felt as if there's a possibility that it could be haunted. But who knows? I mean, sometimes when you're at least expecting it, things happen.
The fact that Gail is so skeptical, I've decided to bring in some more ghost hunters, some investigators that will help us come up with something, see if we can find any evidence that there is a phantom ghost here.
Our team is the United Paranormal Investigators Association. We're an international society of investigators that look into paranormal activity and try to find the answers. We use a variety of equipment, from different electronic devices to different mediums and psychics. Our success rate is pretty good depending on the location. If there is something, we'll find it.
You all right? Come here.
Of course I'm going.
It's not a rough trip. Let's check this out. Just so you guys know, we were upstairs, I think it was the 2nd level,
You saw something right
where
there.
I saw something, yeah.
I saw it up there earlier too.
Oh, you did?
From the top. Yeah, I came in and I saw like the glare from the floor, but it was taller. It was up and it was like black shadow.
Let's just spread out, see what everybody gets. Can you please give us a sign that you're here? Right now, I'm not feeling anything close by. I'm sensing that there is a spirit here. Not within the vicinity, though. Not in the vicinity. That it could possibly be just watching us, what we're doing, curious as to why we're here. Might be even a little afraid or timid.
Since we've been here, you're the only person that's had any sort of experience that could relate to the phantom. So maybe we could, perhaps, or you could, call out and say, you know, if there's anyone here, could you give us a sign?
Hey Phantom, it's me again. If you can do something to show that you're here, like you did the one time, I don't know if you want to move something or make a noise, loud or soft, or touch one of us.
You guys might want to take a reading over here, if you've got anything, because the temperature just changed. Come with me over here. What are you getting as a reading?
I'm getting a steady 63 is what I was
Okay,
getting.
come over here. Try a little bit over here. It's a little colder. It's not as cold as it was a few minutes ago, but this is where I was picking up.
Getting a 61 now.
Okay. There's something that is causing that to do that. All right, interesting.
As the temperature dropped, the ghost trackers seemed to capture some anomalies on camera. As well as what appears to be a face looking out from the seats on the second floor. This is in the exact place that Chris claimed to have seen an apparition earlier in the day. Could this be the Phantom keeping a watchful eye on us? And is the Phantom the spirit of Andy Warhol? Meanwhile, in the office, Dan and I had also noticed a drop in temperature.
Here's the draft. I was gonna say, it was colder over here, and then I felt the wind, and there's no... That was me. All right, Phantom, any other signs other than me bumping something?
Maybe they don't like me and they just want you.
Well, I don't know you yet.
Shall I wait outside?
It's up to you.
Well, are you cool with that?
I'm fine.
You sure?
Yeah. If I see something, I'm hollering.
Okay.
Let's go down here. There's something down here. Walk in here.
Yes, this is where.
Yeah. Yep. We sense that you are back here. Please don't be afraid. Will you come forward and speak to us or give us a sign? Do you know how long you've been here? You heard it.
I heard that too.
All right, Phantom, anything you want to show or do? We're here by ourselves, so... Anything?
Nothing.
Nothing.
What have we done wrong tonight?
Once is enough for me right now.
What do you think? Should we take a wander downstairs and
Yeah, let's see what those guys have found.
Cool.
Can you give us another sign that you're here? Can you bang again, please? There you go. God, I hate when she does that. Oh, I hate when you do that. We're right in the middle of talking to something and it's knocking back to us. It's responding. Hayden felt something down here, so did I, and we're getting communication. You're right in the middle of it, so I got to get back to you.
Unfortunately, the alleged spirit did not communicate with Chris again. Could it have been a sign from Andy Warhol? I was not convinced.
I can tell by your face you're not believing any of this. I'll stay up late tonight and I'll go through everything, see if I get anything. So I promise you by tomorrow I'll have something, okay, to show you. And if I don't have anything, then I'll buy you lunch.
Yay,
right?
the first time in how many series?
Wait a minute.
Would Pittsburgh prove to be profitable in our search for Warhol's spirit?
Gail, are you okay?
Would we make contact with him? How could we know what lay in store?
Andy Warhol, I conjure thee.
Andy Warhol was one of the most influential and popular American artists of the 20th century. Considered a complex individual, he was forever altering the relationship between art and society, using his love of famous people, money, and his own superstar status as inspiration.
He was someone who was the mirror of his times, who was the documentarian who could tell you in one object, one silkscreen image, what people in that time ate, drank, who they desired, and that was what was so special about Andy Warhol.
But Warhol's life had not always been so rock and roll. Much of his inspiration came from his early life in Pittsburgh, a world away from the energy and life of New York, which he would later call his home. So it was in Pittsburgh that we chose to look for his spirit.
Certainly his roots here, with his family, with the working class aesthetic, where he took art classes, where he first went to college and perhaps had his first college romance, that was all in Pittsburgh. And I can't believe that somewhere in that great spirit that is Warhol's can't be found here.
So far, Warhol's ghost had been elusive. Nonetheless, Chris believed he had discovered paranormal activity in the Carnegie Natural History Museum. He was convinced that my skepticism would be challenged.
So who's going to buy lunch today then?
Well, you know, I've got a bunch of stuff here to show you. So I don't think it's going to be me. I set up a camera, a video camera. I didn't get any strange anomalies on the camera, but I did get about 8 different EVPs, okay? Also, with my voice recorder, I got 27.
That's a lot of EVPs.
It's a lot of EVPs. I picked a couple that I want you to hear.
I put these on.
Now, what I'm getting is, who is that? I'll play it again. Do you hear it?
I can sound like I hear a bit of a whoo at the beginning.
All right, let me grab another one. Listen to this.
It sounds like, after the whoo, it sounds a little bit like a lady going, ah.
It says, how do I know you know right there?
I was going to say at the end it sounds like there, but I don't
You
get
did
the
hear
bits
the
in the
there,
middle.
so it doesn't stand out to you.
I can hear there and I can hear how. That's pretty good for me.
So what do you think, though? I mean, I've got something here.
But we didn't get Andy Warhol.
No, I don't think any of this is Andy Warhol.
Is it worth us going somewhere where he went when he was older?
I like that.
And what about lunch? Go Dutch?
Well, lunch, we'll split it.
The next location I wanted to investigate was the Carnegie Mellon University campus, home to the College of Fine Arts. Andy Warhol studied painting and design there for 3 years before graduating in 1949.
Now, Andy Warhol came to this college, and there's 2 parts of the campus that he probably spent most of his time. You've got that art building over there, and you've got this building, which is the Fine Art building. And obviously, you know, there's lots of student tales, urban myths, that they're both haunted.
Urban myths. Well, the thing is with urban myths and urban legends is you don't know where they originate from. Plus, you don't know what was once a true story could have been fabricated into something that it is today.
Or elaborated.
Exactly, exactly. But we have to go to places that we're finding out that may be haunted and investigate them. Is it Andy Warhol that haunts this place? He always said that to know the rules, you got to break the rules, right?
So this is where he learned his rules?
This is where he learned his rules, so that's why we're here.
Okay. Well, let's go in and see what we can find.
You know, I really like to believe that his spirit is here, because this area in the building, in this old Beaux-Arts building, is probably the area where he worked with his other students. And they would have their tables set up, their palettes set up, their easels set up. And this is where the dialogue and the development of their art really takes form.
To find out the truth behind the hauntings, Chris met up with a recent art school graduate.
Hey, Jesse, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Nice to meet you.
I went to talk to one of Warhol's old student friends.
Warhol, what was he like as a person?
He was actually quite shy and very quiet. He never spoke very much at all. And it was always hard to tell when he was serious and when he was pulling your leg. He had always shown evidence of being an extraordinary person in a very quiet and reserved sort of way. You knew that he was operating at a different level than most people.
So Chris, this is one of the painting studios here in CFA. And you know, Andy Warhol went to school here in CFA and he painted in this room.
What I'd like to ask you about is the stories of paranormal stuff. You know, there's legends and stuff going around, rumors are true.
So what do you think? Is there nothing here? Or?
Well, I wouldn't say there's nothing here. I would be strong enough, knowing from my experiences and what I'm sensing now, that there is a spirit or entity that has at least visited this room. Okay, is it Andy Warhol? I would like to think so. Now, I hear that you have a machine that you created. Basically, it's part sculpture and part scientific in investigating the unknown, such as detecting ghosts.
Right. I do have my own machine.
Wonderful.
Which I would love to show to you guys.
Okay, great. I'll wait till Gail gets here, and then we'll go take a look at it.
Okay.
We're here tonight, obviously, to look for the spirit of Andy Warhol. Do you think he would be quite enamoured by that thought?
Yes, I do, because Andy liked what was unusual. I think you can tell by looking at his art that his eye, his mind, was drawn to things other than what most people are drawn to. And so I don't think he would be at all upset about the notion that his spirit might be wafting around here somewhere.
Well, hopefully we might see him ghosting around tonight. Were the rumours about this place fact or fiction? To help us in our investigation, Jesse had brought along his ghost hunting machine.
This is a machine I made. Sort of has two functions. One is to detect ghosts, and the other is a piece that recreates a science fiction film reality. So, you know, in the classic science fiction films, when a ghost enters the room, you hear the theremin sound, and this just provides the appropriate soundtrack for an actual haunting. This is an EMF meter, which is what people use to detect ghosts.
Yes.
What this basically senses is the presence. Okay, like it affect when our presence is here, it goes off. I'm curious to see if this thing works if I call out to some of the ghosts or spirits, if there's any here.
So what's the plan now?
Well, I think the plan now is probably to just get relaxed and call out to any spirits and see if we can get this thing to go off. If there are any spirits that can hear my voice, can you please come forward and affect this device?
To whom it may concern, ghosts, spirits, please come interact with the machine. It will provide a classic soundtrack for you.
Affect this device. What do you think?
I can see how the machine works. I think it's great fun, but I don't think there's anything here. And if you're just shouting on spirits, do they just come on demand?
Sometimes you never know. You know, they got their own agenda. It's not like you just call them out and boom, they appear.
What about Andy Warhol?
He might like it because it is actually part of an art project. Well, let's see. Andy Warhol, can you come forward and affect this device to go off? You want to just walk up to it and make sure it's working?
Okay.
Just walk towards it. Yeah, it's working.
Do you think a ghost would avoid this?
Avoid it?
Yeah.
Some might be curious because of this, and some might be terrified from it.
Should we just leave this here? Because I don't think Andy's here. I don't think there's anybody here other than us.
Later, when Chris listened back to his tape recording, it appeared that we may not have been the only visitors in the building. What appears to be voices can be heard below the hum of the machine. According to Chris, this white noise has been amplified because of the machine. The device itself does not carry the voices, but the sound vibrations create the necessary medium for them to alter and become audible. From the recording, there are some very recognizable words. But I did not feel that this was Warhol communicating with us. Andy Warhol was one of the most iconic figures of his age, but would he delight us in death as he had in life, by finally giving us a sign from beyond the grave?
So what you gonna see over there? Gail, are you okay?
Our search for the spirit of Andy Warhol had brought us to Pittsburgh. Born and buried here, these were the streets where Andy spent his formative years, among the people who first saw his potential and encouraged his art. So far, our search had been unsuccessful. For a man who loved the limelight, he was proving elusive.
When Andy Warhol died, it was a shock to everyone. He was part of New York society, part of everyday happening in New York. You'd pick up a paper every day. Andy Warhol went to a nightclub. He went to an opening. He went to a screening. So it was very hard to believe. And I really still don't believe it, even though I went to the funeral. Andy is still with us.
We felt we'd been on the right track following in the footsteps of Andy's artistic development. From the elite art classes he attended as a child, to the college where he graduated. Our last stop was the Carnegie Library, a location where Andy studied both as a child and later as a student.
I believe that Andy Warhol and his first visits to the Carnegie Library are probably what engaged him, sort of ensnared him into his interest in the art arena. Certainly his opportunity to come here and study some of the old masters, contemporary artists, would have given him a lot of inspiration about his art.
The library is also rumoured to be incredibly haunted. Could Warhol be seeking peace and quiet after death, in contrast to the frenetic pace of his life?
So this is the area that we believe Andy Warhol would have visited when he was in his late teens. He did a lot of research at the library and spent a lot of time just visiting.
Has anything like paranormal ever occurred on this floor at all?
We believe so. We have something that either loves or hates mystery novels. We're not quite sure what. But what we know is that the security guards come in every night, the mystery section. We have moved this collection to many places in the library. It does not matter where the mystery books are.
Okay.
But they wind up on the floor about 3 times a week.
So it's following it around?
Yes.
Well, that's a mystery in itself.
Mystery? The other paranormal hotspot could be found in the oldest part of the library.
This is an area of the library we call the stacks. This is where a lot of our books are. And what we know about this area, it was built in 1895. And in the early 1900s, there was a judge who would come to the library with some frequency, and he hanged himself. Why he hanged himself, we're not really sure. One of the things that happens with some frequency is right in this area we will get some strange writing. Most often it says the judge is here, but sometimes we get strange things. This says something in Latin, not entirely sure what it is.
Hic erat means this was, but I don't know what that bottom word says. Is it possible that ghosts can actually leave handprints?
There are stories about handprints and words being written in sawdust, on mirrors, in paint. So it's quite possible that this could be the ghost that they talk about on this floor. How long ago was this actually put up here?
This is within the last week.
Within the last week?
Yes. We have also had people who have said they feel as if somebody is touching them, or they feel breezes on them. They just feel like there's a presence up here.
We've had a lot of that.
Well, this is great, the fact that you've got stuff that's current. I mean, downstairs and up here. I mean, how do you feel about this place?
I think it's amazing. It looks fantastic. I think tonight it will look extremely spooky with the lights off.
Okay, well, let's get started.
This was our last chance, not only to investigate the paranormal activity here, but also to try and make contact with Andy Warhol himself. To help the investigation, I'd invited a local psychic who knew both the building's history and its tales of paranormal activity.
My name's Mr. Charles. I am known in Pittsburgh as Mr. Charles. I am a professional psychic, and I see the past, the present, and the future. I'm here tonight to see if I can find Andy Warhol. Sometimes I have good luck at this, sometimes I don't. It all depends upon the spirit world and if they want to communicate or not.
Would our final investigation prove successful? Would we find Andy Warhol?
Do you feel that as you walk in? I got a K2 meter right now. We're getting some high energy.
I'm picking up some, picking up a blue orb.
Are you?
Blue orb's a man.
Okay. You can feel it.
What do you mean by you're picking up a blue orb, Mr. Charles?
I can see it in my third eye. Andy Warhol. Andy Warhol. Are you here? Can you hear me? Andy Warhol. Can you come forth?
Look at the reading I'm getting right now. Watch it spike right over here. What this is picking up is electromagnetic disturbance. And I felt it right when we walked in. You could feel that energy. Now I felt that there was another presence. There was a spirit that was being... Oh, just saw something. Okay. Ooh. Feel the chill right here? There's a chill right here. There's a spirit here that was being called to us, was curious what was going on and being drawn over there, and I felt it, and we heard a noise over here. We haven't even gotten to the 11th floor yet, and we're already getting some activity. And some readings, which is fantastic.
Andy Warhol, can you hear us?
Where is it?
See what you can see over.
I definitely heard that.
Yeah, I can hear it. Andy, are you here? Can you talk to us? Can you give us a sign?
Hey, there's footsteps.
Are there?
Seriously.
Okay.
It's either coming from one up above or down here. Listen. Just listen. There was definitely footsteps though, wasn't there?
Yeah.
There was a definite banging, and it was coming from over there.
I think it's just moving around. Well, it's moving around because we're here.
The night had only just begun, yet we were already experiencing paranormal activity.
The reading I'm getting right now.
Was this Andy Warhol, and would he give us a definite sign?
Andy Warhol, I conjured a...
Our search for the spirit of pop artist Andy Warhol had brought us to the Carnegie Library in Pittsburgh, a place he loved to visit in his formative years. However, the building is also known to be haunted, with regular reports of paranormal activity. We decided to investigate the location in an attempt to contact Warhol himself. Chris had invited along Mr. Charles, a local psychic who was familiar with the activity of this place.
Well, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to walk around and see if I can pick him up through what they call magnetic impressions. And then if he don't appear, then I'm going to try to communicate with him through a seance.
Together, we hoped to find the infamous artist, and if we did, would he have a message for us, or for the world?
Is anyone here with me on the 11th floor?
We picking up anything now?
Well, yeah, because I felt that there was someone that walked right across over here, and I went over there and I felt the energy. The spirit's kind of...
In the name of Elah, Andy Warhol, we ask your presence. Are you here with us?
Are you picking anything up, Mr. Charles?
I'm picking up energy, but I'm not getting one direction. You know, it's gone, and like he says, it's moving constantly. It's not standing still.
Mr. Charles, come over here. I want you to feel right over here. It's slowly dissipating, though. It's some spirit. It's a male spirit. He's got a trail over here. He's left a trail here of energy.
You know, I think he's playing games.
Maybe we should just split up on this floor and walk around.
Let's try it.
Maybe he'll not want to make contact individually. Ooh. I felt like it rushed by. show yourself to me. Don't run away. Don't run away. Toss a book and we'll leave.
Yeah, it's colder. Feel it?
I can feel it now.
So it's somewhere around here.
Okay, right now, I'm starting to feel tingling. I'm starting to feel a sensation. Change of energy. Yeah. Definitely his presence is down here. Spirit, I know you're up here. This playing game stuff is childish. Why don't you come out like a man and give us a sign? Make a book move, please. A lot of pressure in my head. Ooh.
Give me your hands. Andy Warhol. Your mind to my mind. Your eyes to our eyes. Andy, can you hear us? I ask you, come forth. Let us see what cannot be seen. Let us hear what cannot be heard. Gail, are you okay? There's two people. One could be the judge, but I would say that there's another person here. I don't know if it's Andy or not, but I did see paintings. I saw drawings of flowers.
I feel a lot of energy.
Do you?
They're too clever.
They are?
I think they're too clever. At this point, I suddenly felt dizzy, as if I was hypnotized. It didn't last long and I wasn't scared. But the worrying thing is that I couldn't explain it.
I'm seeing pictures of horses. Fuck. Where'd that come from? Fuck. Where was it? Sounds like a ton of books just fell. Where'd that come from? There's no books anywhere on the floor. That scared the heck out of you guys. I heard you guys jump.
Chris could not locate the source of the noise, but he claimed he could sense a presence, and this presence was enjoying leading him on a wild goose chase.
Did you guys hear that?
Over that way.
Spirit, was that you?
They're looking for the books.
Holy shit.
Did you get anything?
Chris kept seeing shadows out of the corner of his eyes. This spirit was taunting him.
Give us another sign, Spirit. I didn't get to see that one.
In the name of Jehovah, Iat, Alpha, Omega, I conjure thee. Andy Warhol, I ask us in the name of Jesus Christ, who died upon the crucifix, whose blood shed on the ground. Andy Warhol, I conjure thee. Come forth, come forth. Let us hear what cannot be heard.
It is a privilege to come to this realm.
What's happening?
Don't trust in that which is created.
You talking about the end?
There would be a final performance unlike any other.
Is he okay?
Exactibus numimus Deus, which thus is numerated to Jesus Christ.
Is he okay?
Set him up. Set him up. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Who do you think that was?
That was Andy Warhol. I do believe we talked to Andy Warhol. In fact, Chris went into a trance. For a minute there, I didn't think I could be able to get him out of it.
I think Andy Warhol's message was interesting in a sense that he really didn't care about his art or his creations while he was here anymore.
I felt very proud to meet Andy Warhol after he passed over.
All I kept seeing was these images and faces of him as a child and as an adult. Then I saw through his eyes bits and pieces of what he's seeing now, and I can't even describe it. It's beyond anything I can describe.
Although exhausted, Chris had achieved his wish to channel the artist he so admired and reveal his thoughts from beyond the grave.
You know, Gail, I really wasn't too sure about coming to Pittsburgh here to find Warhol's spirit. But now, you know, after what we got last night, and especially, this is his heart in Pittsburgh. His influences were here with the school. I mean, he was happiest growing up here with his mom.
I think we both got different things from this trip. I think, you know, architecturally, historically, it's been amazing for me, but I don't think we got anything paranormal. I know that you do, but I have got, you know, I don't channel, I don't understand channeling, so that's where we have a...
I can't tell the ghosts what to do.
Well, then learn.
Learn. I'm working on that, please.
Well, Grace Kelly is dead famous next week, and stay with us next tonight. It's an extraordinary look at how psychics are helping in murder investigations with incredible results. It's a new series of Sensing Murder in just a moment.